Giannis Antetokounmpo, some might call him the king of the NBA right now, right? I mean, LeBron still the face, I guess, until he's done. But, Giannis coming off that championship. And Rob, an absolutely historic performance in the NBA Finals. And even as Milwaukee's struggling right now, no one is writing off the Bucks because they're not healthy. And once they get healthy, they're going to be right there in the hunt. But he did a big interview with GQ. And he had two quotes that got people buzzing. All right. And here they are. I'm going to read them for you, Rob. First of all, on his decision to re-sign in Milwaukee. Remember a couple years ago, he re-signed. Didn't look like they were going to win a championship anytime soon. He bet on himself and his teammates, and it worked out for him last year. But he said this. Everybody was texting me, leave the team. It's human. I will say I want to play with the best players. I wish KD was on my team, not against me. I wish LeBron was on my team, not against me. Steph on my team. I chose to stay here even with all the pressure because it's easier to leave. That's the easy thing to do. It's easy to leave. Being in movies, easy. Space Jam, all this, easy, easy. I don't want it, though. It's hard. Life, it molds you to be this guy. Wow, okay. I don't know if those are shots at LeBron or what, but
yeah, those are shots at LeBron. He stuck his chest out. Yes, LeBron, take it. Make your terrible movie that went straight to DVD. Oh, I guess it was in the theater for a week or so.
Did you see
no,
it?
Everybody told me it was terrible.
Well, hold on. I'm going to say this, and I haven't seen it yet, but I do want to watch it now because, Rob, and you might jump on me, but I heard the same thing about Uncle Drew. And I watched Uncle Drew, and it was good. It was good for what it was. I mean, I didn't expect, The Gladiator. I didn't expect American Gangster. But for what it was a good movie. Good job, Kyrie. And so now I want to check out Space Jam. I mean, I'm not 10 years old, But I still want to check out Space Jam.
But I'm just going by the reviews and the friends that I talked to.
But Uncle Drew got panned too, right?
Yeah, because trying to take like a 30-second, 60-second commercial and make it into a full-length movie is hard. Not even just for him, for anybody. Taking a character and trying to make it right.
But check it out. When you got nothing to do one night, instead of watching the Golden Girls reruns for the 338th time, watch Uncle Drew. And I'm not saying Kyrie was Denzel Washington. He wasn't. But it wasn't. It was a pretty decent little movie. All right, but anyway, here's the second thing he said that really got people talking, Rob, on what his next challenge might be after winning the title last year. Listen closely. One challenge was to bring a championship here, and we did. It was very hard, but we did. Very, very hard. I just love challenges. What's the next challenge? The next challenge might not be here. Me and my family chose to stay in this city that we all love and is taking care of us for now. In 2 years, that might change. I'm being totally honest with you. All right, there it is. Rob, I'm going to throw this at you because I know you are an old school guy that likes to see guys stay in one place for the duration. Would it be a mistake or would you be upset or, bothered if Giannis left Milwaukee in a few years?
First, I don't think everybody has to stay. I don't believe in that. Okay. I believe in free agency, but I think there's certain great players. I think if you could stay your whole career somewhere, I think it's kind of special. I do, and I've always said this. Derek Jeter played 20 years with the Yankees. I just think he had a great career. He only wore one uniform. He didn't have to go to Tampa Bay to play his last 2 years, or the Florida Marlins, or the Miami Marlins, or something like that. He played his whole career. He won. You know what I mean? He's a Yankee, period. He never won the other uniform. So there are people like that. I always thought Tom Brady was kind of like that. And maybe a couple of Kobe wound up playing his whole career, never played for Charlotte, but played his whole career in Los Angeles. So there's certain places and certain people, but not everybody, Chris. Sometimes there's a time to move on or whatnot. And if Giannis wants to move on down the road, I wouldn't be mad at him. And I don't think even Milwaukee. he delivered. When he signed back with Milwaukee, he got killed. Oh, you're dumb. You're stupid. You'll never win. I remember all these NBA guys just going off on him. They were so mad because they wanted him to go to Miami or they wanted him to go to Golden State. And he just didn't want to do it. And whether it was by hook or crook, Chris, and things aligned for him, and there were injuries with Brooklyn, whatever, he won a championship. And the thing I love the most about the championship that he won is the bug. He won it off the bugaboo, right? He couldn't make free throws.
Right.
And he made 18 out of 19 or whatever it was, 17 out of 18.
17 out of 19. Right.
17 out. Chris, am I right? If he misses half of those, maybe they don't win that game and there's a game 7 and they might lose. I loved how he went about it, what he wound up doing, and I don't think anybody in Milwaukee, he delivered a championship, would have any bones after this point.
All right. You surprised me because I thought you would, be like, oh, he should stay. Don't be like everybody else and all that. But I agree with you. Giannis is a made man at this point. And he's a made man who did it without a super team. He did it in a small market. He did it in the place that drafted him. He did it when everybody was saying he was stupid, he was wrong.
Yep, everybody.
So he's a made man. He can leave whenever he wants. And Rob, people don't even think about this. But guess who else left Milwaukee after delivering a championship? A couple years later. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And now we do remember him more as a Laker, obviously, because he won 5 championships, even though all of his time in Milwaukee, he was in his prime and essentially the best player in the league. And only maybe half of his years, if that. Well, yeah, I'd say half of his time with L.A., he was the best player in the world in his prime. So Kareem did it. It's no skin off his back. Tom Brady, you mentioned, he did it. He'll always be a New England Patriot. But nobody's mad at him because he left and went to Tampa Bay.
Well, they did boo him in New England. That's not.
Well, yeah, they're upset, but they cheered him too. Yeah, they cheered him.
I'm just saying, once the game started, they booed him.
As they should have.
Right.
As they should have. But they still love him there, no doubt about that. But it's just, I get it, right? We grew up in the romantic era, and it wasn't all that romantic because the players didn't have as much freedom as they deserved and as they have now. But guys stayed for the most part. For whatever reason, most guys, obviously a few didn't. But I'm not there anymore. If Giannis wants to stay in Milwaukee, great. I'm going to be quite honest. I like to see what he does over these next few years of his contract. He signed up for the next several years with the Bucks. I like to see him play that out, see how many more championships he can win. And then I'm just going to say it, and there's nothing against the Bucks. I'd love to see him move on because it adds excitement. The best stories, a lot of them, not all of them, a lot of the best stories are when guys move on and now there's intrigue. What is Durant going to do in Brooklyn? What is Harden going to do in Brooklyn? What was he going to do in Houston? LeBron, what's he going to do with the Lakers? What was he going to do with Miami? It does create great storylines, and that's what this is all about to a large degree. So I would have no issues whatsoever if he left. If he wins, Rob, say 2 more ring or even 1 more ring with Milwaukee, I do think it will really be an interesting story to see if he could go somewhere else and win another championship. Let's face it. Kawhi Leonard won it in Toronto. That's part of the thing. Can he deliver the Clippers, the moribund Clippers, a championship? It's a good story. Makes for good discussion.
Yeah, but it also if he also stayed there and was able to win, and maybe with this group, Chris, and then a couple years pass and they get some other players and win a couple more with a different group, like that works as well. Tim Duncan did it.
No doubt.
That's a good story too. Like after you win and say the moves are made and you got to rebuild it or add some new pieces, Chris, because the storyline might not be Giannis going somewhere, but adding pieces to him in Milwaukee to rebuild it So there's another storyline, but that's someone else moving. So I get what you're talking about, storylines and whatnot, but I think he can have a new storyline even in Milwaukee if new players and different players join him.
No doubt. But I mean, imagine, and I'm just throwing this out. I'm not trying to get people in New York excited. Imagine, though, if he won another ring or two with the Bucks and then said, I'm going to New York to deliver them a championship. You couldn't get a better story. Now, maybe it wouldn't work. Maybe it would. Who knows? But at the time, at the moment, you couldn't ask for a more exciting story. So Giannis, as we both said, made man, can do whatever he wants.
House money. He got house money. People die. Chris, I was talking to Rob G before the show, and I just said, people in their lifetime, right, they don't always get to see their team win. That's all people want, right? Can my team win once or twice, Chris, right? You growing up, can I see them win once or twice? And I'm good. And think about the Cub fans who waited 107 years, Chris. A lot of people went their whole lives who were Cubs fan, and they never won. Right. They never saw them win. I remember when the Cubs won, people were like, I can die now. I'm good.
Right.
One time. Right. And he's done that in Milwaukee already.
He said in Milwaukee, I don't think, Rob, and look, is he a guy that eventually could one day be in the GOAT conversation? Who knows? We'll see. He's obviously got to do a lot of winning. If he won in Milwaukee a few times, went somewhere else and won, I don't think it hurt him in the GOAT discussion if he ever gets to that point. Now, and he may, Rob, leaving doesn't mean joining a super team. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean going to somebody else's team. Doesn't mean going there with a bunch of stars. It might just mean going somewhere else where they got some pretty good players and you think you can win with them. So we'll see.